Some call it the hidden tragedy of our country's broken immigration system. Hundreds of thousands of migrants every year, many of them children, traveling long, treacherous journeys in the hands of smugglers, hoping to find a better life in the United States. But even once they make it across the border, too many falling prey to an evil world they could not have possibly imagined. You've seen the images. Migrants rounded up by agents after sneaking over the southern border with Mexico, outnumbering Border Patrol and overwhelming the immigration system. But hidden behind the headlines,
ICE arrested 170 undocumented immigrants.
And the politics.
We're not doing a wall.
A darker world where victims are bought and sold into labor or for sex. Stranded near the International Bridge in Matamoros, Mexico, migrants pass the time under the scorching summer sun, hoping for a chance to cross over into the United States.
Reportado, llegué hasta aquí. Sí, pero ¿cómo llegaste a los Estados Unidos? Llegué con un coyote. Él nos trajo de todo aquí. Corrimos peligro. Vamos a servir primero.
The crowd rushes in as Ana Michelle Castellano, an American, hands out tents for shelter. Children wander freely in the background. Why are you worried?
Según lo que se dice, México no es un país seguro.
But the most dangerous part of the journey may be ahead in America. Even if they make it past this point and they've been safe so far, the journey across the border isn't exactly home free necessarily for these people.
That's right. You know, one of the first things we try to teach them in our human trafficking class at our shelter is that although they get into the United States, they take this huge sigh of relief. And as they take that sigh of relief, we have to tell them, well, wait, there's dangers that lurk in the United States as well.
By some estimates, 20,000 to 50,000 migrants, mostly women and children, are trafficked in the U.S. every year.
They're putting their lives in the hands of these callous smugglers and these criminal organizations. Who knows what happens to them in their final destinations.
Whether they come to the U.S. through a legal port of entry or not, experts agree they are vulnerable, arriving with little more than the clothes on their backs and often owing thousands of dollars to the smugglers that got them here.
Sobre las extorsiones y todo eso, no me dejaban trabajar. Entonces, en vista de eso, pues me dediqué a ahorrar dinero.
Anti-human trafficking group Unbound, along with law enforcement from Waco, travel hundreds of miles to Ana Michelle's new shelter in Hidalgo, Texas, to bring supplies.
We want to tell anyone, anywhere we can, how you can recognize human trafficking victims.
And to help those who come in contact with migrants spot the signs of exploitation. One of the things I read, children are being sent back and forth, even across the border, to be sex trafficked.
They're basically being used to be put with individuals to make it look like a family. And I think law enforcement is aware of that. They have really cracked down on a lot of safety issues to be able to identify and help in those situations.
As we signed this crucial legislation
in Washington, President Trump recently signing several pieces of anti-trafficking legislation. But Detective Joe Scaramucci, who has helped crack hundreds of these cases in Texas, says the solution is also on the home front.
At the end of the day, this is ultimately a human problem. It's not an immigration problem. It's not a domestic problem. It's human beings.
Human trafficking victims, both domestic and international, have been identified in cities, suburbs, and rural areas in every state. If you suspect someone is being trafficked, contact local police or the human trafficking hotline at that number on your screen.